This past Holy Saturday, a Springfield baker used a little divine intervention along with family and friends to help create some heavenly confections that were given out to area churches. It's a one-night labor of love that celebrates Christ's resurrection. Steve Kiltonic tells us now of this unique baker and his group, which calls itself God's New Beginning.
On a night when people were at home coloring Easter eggs or preparing food for the following day's Easter celebration, Carlos Cruz was busy baking and baking and baking some more. Carlos and his crew of 13 spent all of Holy Saturday night preparing special cookie wafers he called hosts, which were distributed to 3 parishes Easter morning. It's a sacrifice Cruz has done for the last 5 years. He feels it's the least he can do for Christ, considering he died on the cross for us. By day, Cruz works as a master baker at the Coffee Cup in Springfield's Liberty Plaza. He's been here the past 12 years. Cruz, who once owned his own bakery on Long Island, learned the baking trade from his father.
He was a professional baker in New York, and instead of him letting me go to parties, he used to take me to work.
Cruz was raised a Catholic, but when he turned 20, he fell away from the church. Cruz eventually married his wife Evelyn, and they had 7 children. But one day while waiting at a bus stop, he had a chance encounter with Mary Stacy of Springfield.
He had this thing about him, almost like something, I can't explain it, almost like reaching out to me.
Stacy felt compelled to help. She gave Cruz a prayer of baptismal vows, a scapular, and Sister Faustina's diary.
From there on, I just started to listen to her because I noticed that she was for real, So I converted.
Cruz prayed and asked the Lord what he could do to give back in return for his sacrifice.
Easter was coming, and I got an inspiration. And he says, do something for the Easter. It just came. I felt the Holy Spirit all over me. Each year, it actually gets stronger. And now it comes to me in dreams, just before Easter.
That first year, Cruz baked 1,000 Jewish breads, or sweet dough, for Sacred Heart Parish. They were a huge hit.
I couldn't help but think of the miracle of the loaves and fishes. There was bread everywhere.
In years since, it's been hot cross buns, a raspberry macaroon jewel cookie, and last year's Stairs to Heaven cookie. 3 months ago, Cruz had a series of dreams in which the Lord told him to make the hosts. His confection turned into a cross between a cookie and cake. What he bakes each year is kept a secret until Holy Saturday.
If we got one person out of the 100, hey, we did our job. We spread the word. That one person's going to spread it to somebody else.
Coffee Cup owner Dino Facente lets Cruz use his facility to bake his treats. The entire operation is a family affair, with Cruz's children, grandchildren, and friends helping out. Cruz first makes the batter, then puts the hosts on trays into the oven. After they're baked, the team works in assembly line fashion, putting on the icing, packaging them in containers of 2, and then taping the prayer cards on top. This year, Cruz made 6,000 hosts, doubling last year's production. The ingredients for the entire batch includes a mixture of 36 pounds of eggs, 19 pounds of shortening, 9 pounds of oil, 30 pounds of sugar, and another 36 pounds of a half mix.
Every year we've been successful. God helps us every year. I do worry, but He helps us.
Easter morning, volunteers transported 850 host containers to Sacred Heart Parish, 550 to St. Anthony of Padua Parish in Chicopee, and another 850 to St. Michael's Cathedral Parish. Here, Stacy handed out the Easter treats to parishioners after the Mass. Some will also go to the area's homeless. This year, the group wore T-shirts with a GB logo in reference to the name they have coined themselves, God's New Beginnings, symbolizing Christ's resurrection. Francisca Cruz is Carlos's oldest daughter.
I really, really believe in what he's doing, and I think it's touched a lot of people. We actually look forward to it every year, especially the kids. They have a good time, and we all basically sacrifice our Easter, late hours and stuff like that, but it's worth it.
Cruz says the Easter baking has helped him and his family grow in faith and the Lord.
It's made me a better and a happier man. It really does.
At 5 a.m., Cruz can finally rest, knowing he and his family did the best they could for Jesus.
If my day comes, God's going to say, hey, Carlo, what did you do? Well, maybe I have a shot to go to heaven,
For Reel to Reel, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
What a wonderful way to mark Easter, and I was at St. Michael's Cathedral for Easter Mass, and the cookies were delicious and much appreciated. So thank you so much, Carlos, and your whole group. Can't wait to see what they will come up with next year.